Hey people, welcome to the channel, and in this case, talking about France preparing survival manual for every household, report says, according to The Guardian. Well, what's going on with that? Why is it happening? That's what we'll talk about in this video. But before we go on, if there's a survival manual going out there for the French people, I honestly, humbly recommend that you get my own, which is going to be far better than anything that Macron's government gives you. By the way, you have the more recent one now translated in French, and the Manuel de Survivre Urbain that's been around for a while and people like it quite a bit, or in any other language. Well, not any other language, Spanish, English, and French. That's what you have available from my books in Amazon. And the link is going to be, as always, there below. So what's going on here? Well, booklet to give guidance on preparing for imminent threats, including armed conflict and natural disaster. The French government is reportedly planning to send a survival manual to every household. Seriously, the survival manual that the French government is going to send says 20 pages. You know, again, since I do write survival manuals, I know a thing or two about them. In 20 pages, I mean, it's not that it's going to be... It's better than nothing, right? Telling people to store a little bit of food, a little bit of water, batteries, flashlight, couple tips on what to do if there's a disruption in services, power outages, and whatnot. That's always good. That's always great. It's always going to be far better if you go into a little bit more preparation for these sort of things. These events and preparedness in general, it's a lot more complex than what you can cover in 20 pages. I think it's better than nothing. I think you can do a lot more by dedicating a little bit more of your time to it.
France also plans to urge people to prepare a survival kit for themselves.
So as you see here, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, all of these countries already have, and it was years and years ago. Sweden, we talked about it here in the channel, many years ago, even before the situation in Ukraine got as bad as it is now, even before that. Because, well, your neighbors of Russia. Russia is always there. And you can face a number of natural or man-made disasters. So preparedness makes sense no matter what.
Plans to urge people to prepare a survival kit for themselves with water, tins of food, batteries, torches, and basic medical supplies. The purpose of this, according to the government, is to ensure the resilience of populations in the face of all types of crisis, whether natural, technological, cyber, or security related.
Right.
It is clear why France is worried.
Nul ne sait dire ce qui adviendra dans les mois, les années qui viennent.
No one knows what will happen in the months, years to come. What I want is for us to be ready. What I want is for us to be protected.
Culture de l'engagement, à la force de nos armées.
So there he's addressing, of course, the military. And what else would you say to the military? Yes, we have to prepare for stuff. And yes, Russia is indeed a threat. Now, here is where a lot of the conspiracy theory, oh, you're just trying to scare people, you're doing this and that, and Putin is not going to invade. Well, you don't know what Putin is going to invade or not. At this point, Putin is pretty unpredictable, to say the least. It is safe to say that if you cannot deal with Ukraine, you're not going to invade all of Europe. Yeah, I would say it is. Now, also keep in mind, preparedness involves a number of other things. As I was saying in the start of this video, it's not just something you can cover in a 20-page manual, right? I do this daily for years in YouTube besides writing, and it goes on so many. It could be biological threats, it could be economic impact that it has by elements working, financed by Russia, which is something that's already happening. It's been happening for a long time. If you look at many of the pro-climate environmental groups all over Europe, many of the climate change nonsense, a lot of that was financed by Russia, directly linked, money from Russia straight into a group that's going to be holding a sign in front of a nuclear power facility in Europe. Why? Well, because it benefits them. It destabilizes their neighbor, which they consider enemies, and it also benefits them economically. The more of those power plants you close down, the more power you end up buying from them. Well, up until very recently, that was a mechanic. So you don't have to be a genius. It's not that difficult to understand how it's about marketing and sales and making money because you're not doing the thing we sell. right? And sure, you're in a worse off position, strategically speaking, in terms of a essential resource like energy. but we're making money. And the politician that sees the opportunity of, waving the climate change flag and they make money too. That's all part of the equation that you need to look at here. So it could be that. It could be a cyber attack. What if all of a sudden they hit banks, transportation, planes? These are all things that are vulnerable to technological attacks like the ones that are increasingly more likely to happen year after year. We live in a more complex digital area where anything that you manage to break destabilizes a number of other moving parts here. So I think it's a good idea. What else am I going to tell you? That I don't agree with being prepared? Of course I do. Keep in mind, there's countries that live this way. They don't need a survival manual being sent by the government because you already have it. Look at in Switzerland, they're all constantly planning to getting invaded and attack. Are they a bunch of scared fools? No, they're actually one of the most advanced, prosperous, successful civilizations the world has ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt. And yet, they're always prepared. And that's part of it. Being prepared is not about scaring people. Actually, it's the opposite. Being prepared is about, okay, I have that peace of mind. That's a word we use a lot. The peace of mind that comes along with doing what you know you have to do so as to be ready for some of these events, as likely or unlikely as they may be. That's simply how life goes. See you later, guys. Take care.